F it, we'll do it live.
As always, fashionably late.
We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the AJ Sports Show. This is the football piece episode. As you can see, we are improving our lighting over here to my immediate side. I have some Christmas lights, and Jay's in a little bit of better view as well. Yeah, you know, our production is top notch, but
got the electrician over.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Joined as always by Jay and Andrew. How's it going, buddies? Good to see you guys.
Oh, it's going good. Great to see you too, man.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, and we got our first comment. Hello, hi.
What up? What's up, Elizabeth?
Yeah, week 10 of the football season's over. I got to watch some football this week, and it was pretty fun to watch some of these games. I guess if you're on the opposite side of the blowout, Tony P coming in. I got one comment to say, then I'll just go at. Then I'll let y'all go at it. Oh, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just stare.
Come on, pins and needles, buddy. What's the comment?
Oh yeah, we got to know now.
Menacingly into the distance. Oh, I might even bring that up. Shoot. Oh, you just like to rile up individuals here?
He scored 17 points.
He threw 2 picks. I mean,
yeah. Oh, I mean, Rodgers wasn't the reason that the Green Bay Packers won. It was their defense, which we all have given a very hard time to as well this season. And they played well. I would love for you to listen to me for a second while I talk about the Green Bay Packers schedule. I mean, I know you're not a Packers fan, if I remember correctly. Maybe you are. Yeah, I think maybe you are, Cheesehead. I can't remember. Too many things in my brain. Yeah, after getting trained completely steamrolled the first game of the season against the Saints, in which our aforementioned Rodgers didn't participate in that much offseason program. They played the Lions, okay, and then the Lions had him at halftime. They played the 49ers, in which Jimmy G was not playing of Jimmy G of the last 3 weeks. And so much for their defense playing really well, if you want to just look at who they're playing here. They played the Pittsburgh Steelers, who scored 17 on them. Okay, I mean, Najee Harris is the only reason why. Cincinnati Bengals, they beat 25-22. I mean, that was a ridiculous game.
That was a game nobody wanted to win.
Nobody wanted to win, right?
Yeah. That was the kicker game. Yeah, that was the kicker game. Yeah.
They played the Chicago Bears, who a couple weeks ago, week 6, Justin Fields was not week 10 Justin Fields. So only 2 scores there. They let the Washington football team score 10 points on them. I mean, cool. You know, that's not a good offense this season. The Arizona Cardinals scored 21 on them with no Kyler. Right? No, wait. That was the game that Kyler got hurt. But still, 21 is a respectable number, I guess. The Chiefs scored 13 on them, and the Packers only scored 7 that game. Chiefs obviously corrected that this week. And then, yeah, I mean, the Seahawks, Wilson's first game back, 0 points. I mean, I'm not looking at that. I'm like, sorry, it's a long-winded season. We've gone through a lot of ups and downs here, and I'm not looking at that. I'm like, wow, the Packers have played elite teams. No, I mean you have to contextualize it as much as possible to really give a good take here. Their defense
is playing well. Their defense is playing really well. I mean, they don't even have Darius Smith or Jair Alexander yet. So
yeah,
they even brought Jalen Smith in and then cut him, which was interesting.
Hi,
crazy
Nino.
how fast he fell off, to be honest.
Sorry,
hi, Nano.
Love you. It's my goddaughter somewhere in the comments with her dad's phone. She's got real good grammar and spelling for such a ripe young age. But anyways, we'll start the show. It doesn't take much to get this steam engine rolling. We hope you guys had a good weekend. We hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. If you look outside, it's already pitch black. So without further ado, let's get into the appetizer section, in which today's appetizer section is going to be news related. So
Hold on, can I bring just real quick, Ace, before the appetizer section starts? California, we voted against this time change thing, this fall backwards garbage, like 2 years ago. Okay, we need to get rid of this, dude. This is driving me all kinds of crazy. I'm waking up at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm thinking it's like 7:30. I'm thinking I'm late for work because it's so bright outside, and then it's so dark. Like all night, it's so the nights feel like they're never ending. I feel like Batman in Gotham, like a never-ending nights around here because of how early it gets dark around here. Good Lord, get rid of it. Come on, Gavin. Ugh.
So, so we did the first part. We approved it by like the popular vote approved it, but it needs to go through like legislation and get a positive vote, and then we have to petition to the Congress. So there's still a little bit of ways to go before
legislation. Let's go.
It's never gonna it's likely never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is at this point.
I mean, dude, it's so dark. Like, oh my God. Never had the problem with the lighting before before the time change. Go figure. This is how the government works. Yeah. I mean, things usually drag their feet. That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, we can get into the news. I screwed us up. My bad, dude.
It's okay. You didn't save us any daylight there.
Clearly.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I mean, it's pretty much pitch black. Although the sun's setting and it's beautiful out there. It's got a nice purple orange hue right now. That's lovely. I mean, you only get that like really during this time of the year, when the sun's not at max brightness. Okay, so this isn't a huge huge earth-shattering breaking news for half of this list, because we already know Minkah Fitzpatrick and Ben Roethlisberger are on the COVID-19 reserve list, but Joey Bosa and Jerry Tillery joined that today. They are the Chargers defensive linemen there. So they play each other this Sunday night. I want to say the Chargers play the Steelers in Los Angeles. How do you think this affects the game, though? Do you think do you think, well, I mean, without Roethlisberger, I guess it's a difference. You probably sway towards the Steelers, but it's looking like Minkah is going to be out. That's what Tomlin said today. Roethlisberger still has a shot. How do you think this plays out, though?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely, the bigger losses are coming on the Steelers side for sure. I mean, even though Ben Roethlisberger is a walking cheeseburger back there, Mason Rudolph is no better. I mean, that dude is absolutely pitiful. He threw the ball 50-something times the other day against Detroit. Detroit almost got their first one. I feel like I say that every week. Every week, I'm like, oh, man, Detroit almost got their first win. I mean, are they going to win one? Are they going to be the first team ever to go 0-16 and then 0-16-1?
Hey, it might happen, bro.
I mean, at this point, DeAndre Swift is unbelievable. Someone get him out of Detroit next year, please. That guy's ridiculous. But yeah, definitely thinks these are bigger losses for the Steelers. Losing Joey Bosa and Jerry Tillery is not great, especially when you have a guy like Najee Harris in the backfield for Pittsburgh, but their O-line sucks. So it kind of balances out. I think the Chargers are an interesting team, man. Like, they were a team that were, a lot of people were really high on coming into the season, and they got off to a really hot start, obviously beat the Chiefs. And then we've kind of seen them, really stumble, the last 3 or 4 games, even in some of the ones that they won, like real questionable. They barely beat the Eagles, who, I mean, for their credit, now look like they're pretty damn good. I mean, they won this last weekend too. I mean, come on, they're not pretty damn good. I shouldn't say that, but, they're decent. And, this week they lost to Asa's vaunted Minnesota Vikings. So, I mean, I would pick the Chargers right now just because they have the quarterback, and the quarterback is that important in the NFL right now. And I would say the losses. I mean, Minkah Fitzpatrick is one of the best safeties in the league, so that doesn't do them any good either. What do you think? You got anything else on this?
No, I mean, you saw how Mason Rudolph performed in relief for Ben Roethlisberger, and obviously he hasn't been the long-term solution. The Steelers have I feel like have known that for a while. Fans especially know that. They're definitely going to have to find a replacement for, once this guy is done. I don't know if this is his last year or not. But I'd probably pick the Chargers, especially traveling across the country. Najee Harris is really the only offensive threat. Joey Bosa being out doesn't do him any favors. The Chargers have been awful against the run. So, I mean, it should be just a battle of the trenches, most likely.
You would think.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. There's a chance Minkah plays. Again, we have to wait for the news. Hopefully they produce positive tests or negative tests and can make it for that Sunday matchup. So we'll see.
Well, Tomlin said Minka is doubtful, so at least listing it. You know how they coaches when they do their interviews, they list as questionable, probable, and there's no probable anymore. So, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, looking at this from like a macro level, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base in general, like you better put everything. Yeah, he's a cheeseburger on the bench.
It's like the longest yard with the guy in his cheeseburgers and his pants
with cheese on it.
Yeah.
Dude,
it might be melted.
If you're the Steelers organization, if you're the fan base, like how worried are you, right? Like you better put all your eggs into doing everything you possibly can to get Aaron to come over there, that being Rodgers, right? I mean, what is it? Is Dwayne Haskins your answer? Like you're not bad enough to where you're going to have a top 3, even a top 5 pick, even a top 10 pick in order to go and get your franchise guy. I mean, we've seen, franchise guys come past that, but good Lord. I mean, obviously the earlier pick you have, the cream of the crop is at the top, and you can obviously draft a franchise leader, anywhere in the draft, but it helps a lot when you have an early pick. They're a team that Mike Tomlin's never had under a 500 season. Like they're always going to be good enough to not get the guy. So, I mean, just kind of throwing it back to you guys, like, what do you guys think here? I mean, it's got to be Aaron Rodgers, right? Just all in on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you would hope so, but I mean, with Tomlin, he needs to. I mean, Tomlin's he's probably the best coach in the NFL. One of the best coaches in the NFL.
Yeah, he's like top 3, top 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could. He's obviously doing a great job with Roethlisberger, Mr. getting it out within like 3 seconds of a snap. So, I mean, he knows how to kind of correct and at least guide this team there. I think this is just he can't do it with Rudolph, though. We already know that. It's not going to do with Haskins. They don't have a 4th and a 5th round draft pick next year. They got rid of Ingram to you guys and got a 6th round pick. I think they probably are at, I don't remember, but I think they're probably back at their like 7 picks. So maybe they package another player with their 1st round pick and try to swing a top 10 pick. We don't know if that's going to work, though. We haven't seen it necessarily work out so far, right? Some of these rookie QBs were were drafted with huge draft packages made to get there. So, but it is possible the San Francisco 49ers being one of those teams who is in contention for the playoffs, because almost everybody in the NFC is in contention right now. I mean, the AFC is a little bit different, but they are in the toughest division, I guess, right now in the AFC. If you had to maybe flip a coin, I don't know. I mean, the West and the North are pretty neck and neck, but I mean, I think they have a shot at finding his replacement this offseason, but I don't know if it's Aaron Rodgers. He's such a wild card, man. Like, why would he go to the Steelers unless like he really bought into Tomlin?
Yeah, they've been flirting a little bit. Remember, they played a few weeks ago, and they flirted around a little bit.
Yeah, a little casual, like
mention him on the Pat McAfee show. And I mean, if Aaron Rodgers does anything on the Pat McAfee show, it's basically Bible at this point. So.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think that's as good of a guess as anywhere that he's going to go. And I mean, if Wilson and Rodgers move this offseason, that would be wild. I don't know. I think
Russ.
I think
Andrew,
I think I could ask Andrew this. What does Aaron Rodgers care about what Brett Favre did and moved away to moved on to the Minnesota Vikings? Does he care about his role in his franchise's history there, and maybe stays and works out the kinks, I guess, so to speak, that he had with Green Bay this offseason?
Judging by what he's done the last couple of weeks, I don't think he cares about anybody, to be honest with you. It's really just about what it is best for Aaron, and I'll call my shot right now. He's going to be a 49er next year. I don't care that they drafted Trey Lance. I don't care that Jimmy's on a high contract. If he leaves Green Bay, he's going to the 49ers. I'll call my shot right now. He'll go to San Francisco. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan will be there. I know John Lynch will still be the GM because he'll be like the last domino to fall if the infrastructure there does fall. So Kyle Shanahan's job is on the line, I think, in this particular season. Last night will go a long way for helping that. But if Aaron Rodgers is a free agent and he moves somewhere, he's going to the 49ers. I'm calling it right now.
Why do you say that? I mean, you did mention Trey Lance. I mean, they just traded a ton to go up and get Trey Lance. Obviously Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy there right now. Ryan, with the breaking news here, is saying that apparently Rodgers said something to the effect that he's not going to be back with the Packers next year. I was just telling the guys, like, I've been listening to a lot of what he's been saying on the Pat McAfee show. Didn't catch that part today, so maybe I'll have to go and rewatch a little bit of it. But yeah, Andrew, you're pretty confident in that Niners pick. Is that just like a gut feeling or something? Because honestly, just not trying to dick on it or anything, but it doesn't make a lot of sense if you're the 49ers. But if it's like,
I think if you have a chance to get Aaron Rodgers, you're not really caring that you gave up the picks to get Trey Lance. You can probably deal him to a team who wants to, get a young quarterback.
You deal Trey.
You might, or you nurture him. He's only 20 years old, so I mean, you can bring Aaron Rodgers in and have him play for 2 years. Have Trey Lance that eventually, be the successor there. But I just think he's going to go back to if he does leave. We don't obviously know. We'll have to go back and see what he said today. But if he leaves, I think he's going to go to San Francisco. He's from there. He always wanted to play. He's kind of got a chip on his shoulder throughout his entire career that they didn't take him. And I don't think it's the kind of thing where he never wants to play for the organization. I think if the next step for Aaron Rodgers is to go improve something, is to prove it that he can do it with the team that passed him up. He's just a guy who has a chip on his shoulder. And
I mean, there's a lot of teams that passed him up, but I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, I think the 49ers would probably be towards the bottom of the list, just given the fact, again, that they drafted Trey Lance and stuff. But I mean, he is from there, so I see what you're saying. Yeah, he said no comment, on his future with the Packers, which is what he should be saying, to be honest with you. I mean, they did.
Who asked that question mid-season?
Aren't you not supposed to talk about? Aren't you not supposed to, or is that maybe more focused on like coaches and from an organizational standpoint? Are the players even allowed to fill these questions? I mean,
it's kind of like I know the NBA is harder on tampering, but the NFL has kind of gotten there too, where now they're taking it real serious. I think that's just the easiest way to not answer, right? I mean, just to say no comment. I'm sure Pat McAfee asked something, or AJ Hawk or someone on their panel asked something, but. Yeah, no. I mean, I think it would be Pittsburgh if I had to pick right now. But I mean, it's crazy. Like we could very well. I mean, we've seen it, especially recently. Like quarterbacks who were considered franchise guys who you thought face the franchises have switched quite a bit here. I mean, shoot, if you would have told me when I was a little kid that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning would not be playing for their respective teams by the time they retired, I would have probably slapped you in the mouth. I would not believe you. And look at what's been going on. I mean, and you could have this year be the year of all years with Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, pretty readily available. If I'm Russ, man, good Lord. I mean, they can't do anything, dude. I mean, their front office goes ahead and trades a first-round pick for 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams. And then he's out there. They got smoked, dude. 17-0. Got smoked. Still think Denver's a shot. Yep, Denver's another spot. Don't know if I'd want to. Again, I asked, we talked about this in the beginning of the season. Like the question being, do you really want to go to a division with Herb and with the cold? He's in Green Bay. He's fine with cold.
What about
division with Herb and Pat? I mean, I don't know if I want to do that.
What about the Patriots? Why not?
Oh no, they're committed, dude. Mac is exactly what Bill Belichick wants, bro. Like literally,
I'm just stirring some pots.
No, I feel you. Yeah. Hey, so what do you think? If you had to pick right now, would you be on the Steeler train, or would you have a little more of an out there type of thought process, kind of like Andrew, or? We talked about this zero before the show, by the way. We're kind of just winging this. So if you
I don't think I would directly like throw all my eggs into one basket. We haven't seen him work it. I don't think his coach matters. So like I don't think him having LaFleur or McCarthy and whoever else he had before that, I don't even remember, Holmgren. Like I don't think his coach matters. So I don't have to look instantly at a good coach where I'm landing, where he's going to land. I think he would be overjoyed to have playmakers on his offense. The 49ers are not necessarily like the most stacked there. So that would be like a little like concerning for me if I would say, like he wants to play with playmakers and maybe that's not it. I have no guess, but maybe like a team, like why not like Miami? I don't know. Like they have a couple young wide receivers there, really nice tight ends. Atlanta's got Calvin Ridley in his prime. Yeah,
I mean, it was more of just a question because of the Steeler thing, like if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, like it's got to feel like, you got to feel like you're just treading water at this point. I mean, how much
Oh.
longer is Big Ben going to keep doing this?
He should go to the New York Giants because Daniel Jones can't pass for shit. So why not just go to New York? They have a bunch of wide receivers and tight ends on that team and the top 10 running back for the next 5 to 6 years. Yeah, why not? I don't know. I mean, that could be a cool landing spot. Gets to play in New Jersey, which is not New York, but gets to play for a New York team. Maybe that's where he can cover up some of his drama. I just want my
finally become the big dog in the AFC East. AC, you're trying to bring Aaron Rodgers over there, buddy. Be careful now.
Yeah, I should have thought about that before I said it out loud.
You just don't give a rip because you have Josh Allen. He's like one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. So.
Oh yeah, I would. I'm not too worried. Okay, so we'll move on to the next news story. Wow, we're already 20 minutes in. Go figure. We talk a lot.
I get us off the rails, man. I'm sorry. We always have a plan, and I ask some stupid questions about daylight savings.
Yeah,
who the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have for their quarterback after Ben.
We forgive you. It's all right. It's expected.
This is genuine content. We're just hanging out and talking to each other. And if anybody wants to join the conversation, we invite everybody with open arms. Okay, now it is pitch black outside. I'm just giving you guys the weather update here in not sunny California. Okay. I will preface this next news topics to say yeah, hashtag daylight savings time. This team scored more points this last week than they did the last 3 weeks combined, and that would be the Carolina Panthers. And Cam Burglar. He's the Cam Burglar. He is stealing the job. So Cam Newton played. I don't know how many snaps, maybe like a dozen. They only had a couple packages set for him, rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown in the first quarter, right? Or was that the second quarter that he got the? But yeah, maybe a sore topic for Ryan here in the comments. Let us know how you felt about this game.
Yeah.
But not only did Cam stealing this job, right? Because that's what all signs point to. He's getting all first team reps this week. They stole this win. They stole what should have been an easy win for an Arizona Cardinals team who, against adversity, right? They haven't had their starting quarterback and their best wide receiver for the last 2 weeks, and now we're finally seeing, not everything is like sunshine and daisies. But okay, well, let's talk about Cam getting this starting job. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I love Cam Newton. Just kind of like who he is and what he's about.
Why?
And like it's on the football field specifically. Like I don't, off the field, I'm not really concerned too much with not even that I'm not concerned. I'm not familiar with who he is and what he does, but on the field, I love the passion he plays with. I think he's obviously not the most technically gifted quarterback, but he is athletically gifted, and that's what makes him very special. I mean, in his 1 year in New England, he played 15 games, 12 touchdowns. Didn't throw the ball particularly well. He had a high completion percentage, but 8 touchdowns, 10 picks. But I think it's a system that could work for him. Matt Rule is a very high offensive mind in the NFL. Couple that with Joe Brady and hopefully a healthy Christian McCaffrey. There's a possibility for being at the NFL is as wide open as it is. We'll talk about it later that they could sneak into a playoff spot here. It's all predicated on what Cam's going to come in and do. He only played 9 snaps. The one rollout throw that he did have, I mean, albeit it was only 5 yards, looked really good. I mean, he threw it right on the money. He was rolling to his right, and the ball came out perfect, exactly where it needed to be. Yeah. And obviously, again, he's athletically gifted, being able to just get out of the backfield and stretch that run play out to the pylon and get in. And I love what he did afterwards. I don't care about the penalty, he just screaming "I'm back" and stuff. I've watched that video a million times. So we'll see. Never been a big fan of Sam Darnold. Hopefully that guy, best of luck in your future endeavors. It's just not going to be an endeavor in the NFL, pal.
Yeah, we kind of give Jay a hard time about Sammy Darnold on Sunday show.
Yep. One of my guys thought he'd be better.
The guy.
God, dang it. Yeah, sometimes you just sink, man. I mean, golly, that dude is absolutely. He's bad, man. He's just really bad. I didn't think he was that bad, and then he came out and first few weeks Now let's give myself a credit. I was doing a few roundabouts, first 4 weeks of the season. They're looking pretty good.
Doing some victory laps.
I had to make them timid real fast with the egregious play that we saw from that Dinkmeyer. Nah, dude. I mean, it's freaking great, dude. Seeing Cam come back to Carolina. I mean, there were some people who were like, oh, he's coming back. He's gonna absolutely, if he doesn't perform well, he's gonna ruin the taste that he left in Carolina's mouth to be in their franchise. Shut up. Carolina hadn't sniffed a quarterback since Jake Delhomme, okay? And you have a team. They're pretty damn good. Their defense is really good. I mean, they have playmakers all over the defense. The offense is good too with DJ Moore. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey now looks like he's 100% healthy.
This is where Aaron Rodgers will go.
Yeah, right now he goes. Damn it. We're just passing Aaron Rodgers around to every fucking team in the NFL. No, I love to see it, dude. And it was great. Andrew's 100% right. Seeing him celebrate after that, you could tell that there was a lot of pent up emotion there. People give him crap for New England when he was there. They were winning ball games, dude. And he was scoring rushing touchdowns. Like, he wasn't throwing for a whole lot of them, but he was scoring rushing touchdowns.
They went 7 and 8. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were 7 and 8. And they were
in games that he played. Yeah.
Well, and then, I mean, they were playing a lot better than a 7 and 8 football team before he got COVID. And then I've mentioned this a few times. He got COVID and talked about how when he came back, he was an absolute mess. His breathing was hard. His stamina, his endurance wasn't there. And then the last few games of the season, what happened? The Patriots went on a little run. They won like 4 of their last 5. And Cam Newton started playing pretty darn good football again. I'm not saying Cam's going to come out here and light the world on fire. And, it was great to see him, score on the first 2 plays he had. But the first one was a running play where he was almost tackled in the backfield. But again, Cam Newton's just a freak of nature and broke a tackle and made it to the pylon because he's unbelievable. He'll be able to do that all the time. Cam Newton, QB power on the 5-yard line. There's very few people that are stopping that, dude. If I'm the offensive coordinator and I'm inside the 5-yard line, Cam Newton, first and goal, I'm running QB power 4 times. Stop him 4 times. Go ahead. Josh
Allen has to look at QB power tape.
Dude. Especially with the way that your running backs just, oh gosh. They have some running backs have a nose for the end zone. Buffalo's running backs have a nose against the end zone.
Hey, we could talk about the Buffalo Bills this week.
Played well.
They had 4 rushing touchdowns and
Matt Breida
by 4 different guys.
Matt Breida vulturing my touchdowns for DFS purposes.
4 different runners rushed a touchdown, not named Josh Allen. Josh Allen was neither one of those.
So where were you on the insider information on Matt Breida for DFS, dude? I mean, that's the stat. I had no clue, dude.
I know.
I had no clue.
Well,
Matt Breida goes out there and scores 2 tutties. What?
He was practicing with them this week, and he was warming up before the game, but completely bizarre that he actually got some run. I didn't expect it. I mean, not that I wouldn't expect that out of Dayball because he likes to mix it up a decent amount. And it was working with Breida and Singletary, and then he brings in Zach Moss for like a play.
Yeah,
and he gets stuffed. Like, dude, just stick with the guys that are working, right?
You had your right. Like, if one of them were missing, like if Singletary was like a little nicked up or Moss or something, I would see why.
And one of them was.
But they all played.
They all played. Yeah, they all played.
I was like, come on, man. I had a ton of Josh Allen in tournaments. We actually did pretty good this week, Ace. Had ourselves a little $120 ROI this week, baby. Won a little $320, little $320 tourney day. Finished 122nd in the Engage 8, highest we finished in forever. Crazy. I get an optimizer, and all of a sudden the plays just start freaking feeding to me. Felt good.
No clue what happened.
DFS. Hey, welcome back, buddy. He said,
no clue. I just got booted. I just didn't do anything.
It was me. It's not an AGA sports show if you don't get booted off of it for a second here. Breida, Singletary, Moss, and Isaiah McKenzie all got a rushing touchdown. Ran the ball like 20 plus times. I mean, I guess if you're looking at the Bills got a bunch of shit from losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars the week before for not being able to control the line of scrimmage. So they came in here with getting some of their offensive linemen healthy again, and we're like, you know what, we're gonna make it a point. So it was establish the run.
Yep.
it was a lot of garbage time too, right? So I mean the Mitch White, Mike White, whatever your name is, buddy, you're not QB1 anymore. RIP. He had three.
Even in the game that everyone was like, "Oh, Mike White, he threw 2 picks."
Yeah, against the Bengals, yeah, absolutely. And he had one good first quarter in his second game. In his third game, he had three third quarter interceptions, and everybody in the Bills safety feasted. Everybody got a turnover. We were selling pastry turnovers after the game with Trey and Levi and Taryn. And,
I haven't seen more turnovers since I was in a bakery.
But I'm excited to see. Cam Newton getting rejuvenated there. Just wanted to give my little quick take. I think it's good for them. He had like 12 rushing touchdowns last year in New England, dude. And Sam Darnold. I don't know if you remember. As we were ending one of the shows, I was like, and Sam Darnold's rushing, leading the league in rushing touchdowns. After week 4, he had 5 rushing touchdowns. Imagine how many Cam would have had if he had been with this team since the start. He probably would have had like 7. So yeah, it's cool to see Cam be there, and I don't think that they're going to do this dual quarterback thing. PJ Walker was serviceable, did his job. Robbie Anderson, and it looks like he's loving that Cam is back. Cam had his unceremoniously end to his Panthers stay because he only played 2 games that season, and then he was on injured reserve the rest of the way. So it's a cool comeback. Always root for the comeback story. And with that, we can move on to our main course. Unbuckle. I should say unbuckle the pants.
Andrew is leading the way in the clubhouse, looking like a true Swami at this point.
Yeah, I know that you taking my nickname here, buddy. So this was a complete fail on my part. I went 0 for 5, and I think both of you went 3 for 2. No, Andrew went 3 for 2. Junior went 2 for 3 because you guys picked alternately incorrectly. We'll see it right now. You can go to our next slide here. Oh man, I
still got the Ravens on here, but let's go to the first game down the Sunday slate.
I'm really setting up for a comeback because I need to come back. Okay, so Tom Brady, back-to-back weeks, 5 interceptions total. One of them wasn't really an interception. It wasn't an interception to me. Just the ball was caught and then fumbled, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys feel about his first of his picks. But the Washington football team with Taylor Heineke in a rematch of the 2020, what was this? The second round playoffs. The Washington was it the wild card?
Yeah.
Okay. The Washington football team did enough defensively. And the biggest story here is Chase Young is done for the year. He tore his ACL. Real sad. And Joey Bosa, my pick. Chase Young's was Andrew, your pick, and Aaron Donald's was Jay's pick for Defensive Player of the Year. So it looks like Aaron Donald has the best shot.
Last man standing.
But yeah, it's just kind of a depressing game if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. Bruce Arians, after the game, kind of openly complained about Tom Brady. And well, we could talk. So a couple of storylines here. Was that strategic to jumpstart this team? Because last year they lost to the New Orleans Saints and then were destroyed by them. Shouldn't say even lost to them. And then they went on to win 8 in a row in the regular season, and then they won 4 to win the Super Bowl. So is this more about just trying to ignite the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And then we can talk about any other storylines you maybe have from this one.
Yeah. So Bruce Arians, for some reason, feels the need to continuously call out Tom Brady, and Tom's a guy who's got thick skin. He's kind of lived off of that. It's something that he wished Belichick did a little bit more. when he was in New England, was coach him a little bit harder. I guess that's some of the stuff that came out of there. But I know that. Ryan, hey Ryan, listen, Ryan. All I'm going to tell you, Ryan, is we care about you. Yep. Andrew's all over it. Yep. We care about you, Ryan. Okay. Don't do this. Okay. We be there first for a lot of things. Okay. Brady done? Not one of them. Okay. Like Andrew said, he'll let us know when he's done playing football. If you're Bruce Arians, I think you need to be a little more nitpicky on your gosh darn defense over here. Okay. So you were down You were down, and then Tom Brady comes, scores a touchdown. It's 23-19, and then your defense allows the Washington football team to go on a 19-play, 80-yard, 10-minute drive. And then your first thought is, oh, I'm going to come out, I'm going to wax Brady. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Mike. Oh, buddy. Hey, whoa. Hey, don't do it. Don't do it, boys.
So I think you could look at it a couple ways. Yeah, they're back from a bye, and you should script a game plan directly against your opponent. Who has the bigger leverage to do that here? It would be the Washington football team, because they're looking at it this way. They definitely need to come out and play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who they lost in a close game last season. So they had you couldn't, and Taylor Heineke was there for both games, so you could legitimately say, okay, guys, let's rally around this game. Let's go out there and let's beat them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been injury riddled on offense, so that doesn't obviously help them too. When everybody's healthy on this team, they have put up some impressive offensive stats. Tom Brady regularly has thrown for 250 to 350 yards and 4 touchdowns a game without many interceptions, and so he's doing it back-to-back weeks. And the Washington football team's defense should have been a little bit better this season, and they haven't been playing that well. And in this game, they did play pretty well. And against the New Orleans Saints defense, I mean, that's a pretty good defense too. So I think he's just running into some good defenses that halfway through the season are figuring their teams out a little bit better. And Tom Brady was the reason that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl in 2020. There's no elite team this year. Every team is B plus, A minus. There's a couple of teams that are so close, but we've seen the Cardinals lose, we've seen Tom Brady lose, we've seen the Chiefs lose, we've seen the Bills lose in incredibly ridiculous fashion. So it just shows you the league is closer than it ever has been, and this is going to be a pretty interesting playoffs that we're approaching too, because anybody can win. And I don't think it's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers anymore, just because I don't know if they're going to be able to repeat. They set themselves up nicely here this season by bringing everybody back, but they have a lot of injured pieces right now. And Washington football team handled business, and good on them, because they had some redemption on their mind, and we love redemption.
Well, yeah, I mean, they doubled them in time of possession. It was 39-20. I mean, their third down conversion rate was over 50%, that being for Washington. They were 2 for 2 on fourth down. But the reason why, again, I just want to reiterate, it's not that I don't think Tom Brady was the problem, because he threw 2 interceptions and he could have played better. The Washington football team only outgained the Tampa Bay Bucks by 50 yards. Again, it was literally just, it was keep away football at its absolute finest by the Washington football team. Terry McLaurin had that 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7 where he takes an absolute whomping on a slant and holds on to Terry McLaurin. F1, baby. That dude is nasty. He's really good. And yeah, they were able to control the football game by keeping Tom Brady on the bench, on the sideline. And that's really how they won the game. There's really nothing else to talk about. F1, you know it. Andrew, you got anything on this one, bud?
I mean, I think the biggest problem right now for the Bucs is, you guys mentioned the injuries that they're dealing with. Defensively, they just haven't been the team that everyone saw in the playoffs. And honestly, defensively, they weren't the same team in the playoffs that they are this season, and that they were in the regular season in 2020. A lot of things kind of lined up for them pretty well in the playoffs, honestly. During their 4-game playoff run, they ran into a little bit of luck. They ran into an old Drew Brees, and I mean, they played very well. And Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul, got home a lot. And that's the thing that they're not doing right now. That's not helping out the back end. That helped out in their playoff run. Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul, who's dealing with a shoulder and hand injury right now, has missed games this year, has not been 100%. They've only combined for 8 sacks total on the entire season. Shaq Barrett got a huge contract extension for 4 years and 8 sacks. There's plenty of players, probably 6 players in the NFL who have more than that just on their own. And that's what this defense is predicated on, and they're just not getting home. And when you don't get home, and when you run a lot of man-to-man coverage like the Buccaneers do, when you're on your 3rd, 4th string defensive back, you're gonna get burnt. And this is kind of what's happening right now in the last couple of weeks. And which is just a touch on Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians, for some reason, I'm just not a fan. I think he thinks he's a very high-minded individual in the NFL. I think he's been very fortunate as a coach to not only have Andrew Luck as an interim head coach, and then he went over to Arizona and Carson Palmer for the year that he had. And then now over here in Tampa Bay, walks into a situation where the greatest quarterback of all time chooses to come to your organization. I just don't think the coaching staff is in any right mind to place blame on the players at this moment in time. I think they really need to adjust what they're doing. They got a bye week coming up, so
no, they just came off.
Oh, they just came off their bye.
Yeah, which makes it even.
This is probably not what they wanted coming out of it. They're gonna have to short up pretty quickly because the NFC pretty top heavy, and if they want to buy, obviously that one seed is still in play for almost every team, especially because the Cardinals lost this past weekend. But they're gonna have to short up real quick, especially defensively. Shaq Barrett needs to, he needs to be the guy that got paid that money. It really is really what it comes down to. 5.5 sacks ain't getting the job done over there.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you bring back, like, because so the NFL, the only decent dynasty. I'm underplaying their dynasty. The only dynasty we've had recently is the New England Patriots. And so you bring back all 22 players, and maybe you're on your way to a second dynasty. But even with the Patriots winning, in back-to-back years a couple of times, they didn't win like all 7 of their titles in one decade. This is spanning over 2 decades, 2 different teams, 2 different Tom Brady's. And so, I mean, the Buccaneers, they're servicing their chances as well as possible. But you got to come out and play, and you got to have enough like in your tank, and you have to have enough like in your mind to be like, I'm going to come out and I'm going to do really well, and I'm going to play my hardest. And they didn't play their hardest, and they lost, and that happened.
They didn't play their best. They come out. I'm sorry, dude. That to me, like Andrew kind of knows, like football players, dude. They go out there and they're giving their all every play. They didn't play their best, and there was things that they could have done to improve. But you got to tip your cap to the Washington football team. Like I said, they kept Tom Brady off the field and did a good job of making sure that he stayed on the sidelines by controlling the ball. And yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. The thing with the Buccaneers is this is not going to be a dynasty. And I think that's why they're holding themselves to such a high regard, right? This isn't something that's going to be going on for the next 5 years. I mean, this is a short-term thing. They brought everyone back and did all the cap finagling they had to because they know that they're in a win-now situation with Tom Brady. So, as you guys kind of mentioned, though, the NFL this year has kind of been a crapshoot in terms of everyone is beatable. There is not a single team that lines it up on Sunday. And, I mean, obviously there's favorites and there's underdogs, but there's not a single team where you line it up on a Sunday and you're like, oh, my God, they lost? Like, no way. It's just not the case. And if you do feel that way, you haven't been watching football this year because literally everyone is losing. It doesn't matter who it is, who's out there, who they're playing against. Everyone on any Sunday, like every other Sunday, is capable of losing. We're just seeing it on a way higher scale than we've ever seen it. The parity this year is pretty crazy, if you ask me.
I mean, they were facing the one of the worst pass defense teams in the NFL.
You didn't have the ball.
Yeah, I mean, because you control your own. Yeah, they didn't control the ball. I get it. Yeah,
that's why. Tom Brady still went out. You had almost 300 yards. He had 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he hit Mike Evans for a long one. He didn't have the football.
Well, they face the Bills and them have kind of similar schedules coming up here. They both play the Colts, they both play the Saints, and they play each other. So, and that's in the next month here. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to pretty decent competition coming up. A rematch against the Saints. The Bills obviously will be a tough game for them, and the Colts are nothing to sneeze at either. So we'll scoot on to the next one here. Dude.
Yeah. I mean, we could kind of make this one brief, right? I mean, this was a 2.5 point spread, and we kind of talked about it. We talked about it on Sunday, and I'll let Andrew kind of take his victory lap here. But this is one that, I mean, Ace, me and you kind of, we were kind of on the same page here. 2.5 point spread, a team that controls the football. The New England Patriots don't do a great job of stopping the run. We knew that they were going to be without Nick Chubb, but we saw Dearness Johnson come in and be super serviceable. Mm-hmm. And even Dearness Johnson was not the reason they lost. The reason they lost was Mac Jones was super efficient. This Patriots defense is really good, and Baker Mayfield is #cheeky. It's really what it comes down to. And they came out, and the Browns actually took an early lead until the onslaught took place. So, Yeah, I mean, in terms of me, I mean, this was my survivor pick because I really thought 2.5-point spread. This is a game that Cleveland's going to shorten. Kevin Stefanski is a really good coach. I mean, obviously, I'm not slighting Bill Belichick and saying that, but a lot of times Bill Belichick gets one over against far less superior coaches. And I thought this coaching staff in Cleveland really had turned a corner after they let go of Odell Beckham and really established who they were again in terms of short stuff, getting the ball out of Baker's hands, involved in the tight ends, really getting the running backs involved in the pass game.
Mm-hmm.
And the Patriots did everything to stymie that the entire afternoon. I don't know if you have anything else to touch on that, Ace, but we watched a pretty good amount of this game until it turned into an absolute shellacking at halftime. But that's all I have really to take away from it.
Yeah. Mac Jones has been landed in the best spot for any quarterback this offseason. And, he's been everything Bill's probably, told him he has to be. And that's good. The Patriots have climb out of their 1-3 hole to start the season. I mean, they beaten the Jets, they beaten the Chargers, they beaten the Panthers, and they beaten the Cleveland Browns the last 4 games, and those are all good wins. They also, some of their wins were against Houston and Miami, who's not good, and despite what they did last Thursday night, and the Jets. So I mean, I get that they're climbing up. They're half game behind the Buffalo Bills. Good for them. They're winning the games that they have to win. The AFC East lined up this year with some of the easiest schedules because we're facing the NFC South and we're facing the AFC South. And you got 4 of the worst teams in the NFL just to talk about there. So good win for them. I think we both said on Sunday's show we could see this going the Patriots' way. We were just trying to pick against Andrew too a bit as well. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, this really just came down to me, like, in making the decision. Is I had to kind of paint a scenario for myself, and I didn't see a scenario in which Baker Mayfield went into Foxborough and won a football game. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think that was, obviously showcased on Sunday that he wasn't making good decisions, and whether or not he could be a starter in this league. Thankfully, that's not my decision to make. He hasn't really given a good, he hasn't given good examples that he can be. For what it's worth, Case Keenum came in relief for him late in the third quarter and threw for more pass yards than Baker did in the entire time that he was in. So that doesn't do him any help. And I know in no scenario did I expect the game to get out of hand this much, but I just kind of, that's where I made my decision, drew the line in the sand that Baker wasn't going to walk into New England and win against Bill, regardless of who the quarterback was. Shout out to Ramondre Stevenson, though. Joe Mixon on a bye, picked him up, played him instead of Alex Collins, who finished with a meager 6 points. Ramondre Stevenson on my fantasy team scored 30 points, so that helped. We lost, but I still got 30 points out of a good pick. Makes you feel better, at least, that I did a late swap.
Yeah, at this point, it just feels like it's free falling for the Cleveland Browns, a team that spent a lot of money and put up a good roster to start the season. Has had some okay wins, but and the Patriots have taken care of business so far. They face the Falcons this Thursday night. We'll post our game picks on Thursday on Instagram, and then they face the Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo Bills. So, and then the Indianapolis Colts. So it'll be a nice test for these New England Patriots to see how, after this Thursday night with extra time to prepare for the Tennessee Titans, how they get ready for the AFC's top team and top teams, because they get to face two other pretty good teams after that.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about Baker, and we can go into this another show. I just wanted to say I don't think his time as the starter in Cleveland is over.
No,
I heard
he's so stupid.
I heard a local radio guy from Cleveland, a lot of people in Cleveland are clamoring for him to be removed immediately, and that's it. I mean, there's growing pains. You're not going to find the diamond in the rough immediately, and sometimes it's just growing pains. I mean, he played particularly decent, well enough last year to get them to a playoff berth and a playoff win against the Steelers. I don't think jumping ship off of Baker is the best thing, right away, but there is going to have to be some reality check, and Baker needs to, whatever contract he's expecting to get, it's going to have to be, tempered a little bit. And if he's unhappy with that, then make the decision. But mid-season, I think you just ride with Baker and let the growing pains go through.
Can I, before we move on to the next game, can I just maybe make a point that, and I think you guys know this very well as Chiefs fans, I think Baker Mayfield to me maybe reminds me of like the trajectory that Alex Smith went on, where he wasn't very good like for a couple of years. I'm not I can't remember exactly his stats, and this is just coming out of like off of my brain. But Alex Smith over time played pretty well. Played, I would say, even very well in some seasons. Has some good games. Put some good seasons together. I kind of just wouldn't compare them directly 2-2 because at this point Alex Smith is a better quarterback, but I could see kind of Baker Mayfield kind of being that Alex Smith type for this Cleveland Browns team, not necessarily becoming a superstar person on this team, but being a good piece and not the reason they lose. But this season, he has been the reason they've lost.
Exactly. Right. And that's the only contention I'd have with that, right? Is the Cleveland Browns are showing you, I mean, they are first in run rate above expectation, and it's not even close. Like their run rate over expectation is like 66%. I mean, they don't trust this dude. And even they were down 45-7. I mean, they lost this game 45-7. He threw the ball 23 times. Like Trevor Lawrence is going out there, and granted, he's getting shellacked a lot of weekends. He's yanking, dude. I mean, they're throwing the ball 50 they at least trust him enough to say, hey, young fella, go back and sling it. They don't even want Baker to throw it, dude. I mean, ideally, if the Cleveland Browns had their ideal situation, they would have Baker Mayfield throw the ball 24 times a game. And that would be the magic number. They would never have him throw more than 24 times a game. That's how they win football games. And he was the number one pick. That's not how you're going to win football games with the number one pick. It's not it. Again, like they're going to have a big question to ask themselves in Cleveland, bro. They're going to have a big question. And I get it. You want to go with the Satanist, man. I mean, if you really have to go down to it, I tag him. I can't give this dude the money long term. You can't.
Yeah, that's the way to go. You're gonna have to tag him. That's the best thing. You can't give him a long contract, but I don't think it's time for you to just eviscerate him and completely get rid of him yet. I think him being a number 1 overall pick wasn't even fair to him. I mean, he was a Heisman winner, but
yes, we knew that. That was something we didn't understand.
Yeah, he's not a number 1 pick talent. If he went 15th like Mac Jones, I think it's a completely different conversation. To be honest with you, that's the crazy.
100%, 100%. Yeah, yeah, that's 100% correct, dude. Absolutely. He just, I mean, number 1 pick is absolutely egregious. I mean, look at some of the guys that are coming out. Trevor, just put him next to Trevor Lawrence and say, hey guys, one of these dudes was the number 1 pick
to the Browns. Yep, that's it. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. No, I don't know.
I guess, right? Like it's like, come on, dude. Look at the number 1 picks that we've had. Like Andrew Luck. Put him next to Andrew Luck, and you're like, this guy this is the guy that we went with the number 1 pick. Him? Come on, dude. I mean, even like Trey Lance, like Josh Allen, like he doesn't even look. He's not even on the same stratosphere athletically as any of these guys. Not even close. He's not even close.
Not even close. Do you guys remember Rich Gannon from Oakland? Yeah. He also played for the Kansas City Chiefs, Minnesota Vikings, whatever. He played 17 years or something like that. In his 15th year, he threw for like 4,500 yards or some ridiculous thing for the Oakland Raiders, and then continued just to fall off the face of the planet. I could see Baker doing that. He'll play for like 15 years, just be marginally okay, and then just have some ridiculous season, and then just he's gone forever.
See, like I would agree if this was like 10 years ago, dude, but like people used to be really nervous to take swings in the NFL, dude. We're seeing it now, bro. People are going for it. Take draft picks, take whatever you need. The quarterback position is so important in the NFL. You can't be mediocre. Like you can't. Unless you're Bill Belichick. Unless you're Bill Belichick, you can be mediocre, and then he's the greatest coach ever, so he'll figure it out. But besides that, you cannot be mediocre at the quarterback position. You could be mediocre everywhere else, and you could win Super Bowls, you can make playoffs runs. You're mediocre at the quarterback position, dude. You are screwed. And as a head coach, I'd be nervous. Kevin Stefanski's smart enough to know, hey, dude, I hitched my wagon to this guy, and I don't know how much more I got here in old Cleveland at the dog pound.
Oh, the dog pound's probably barking at Stefanski this week, I'm sure. Okay, let's go on.
What do they want him to do? I mean, what do they want Stefanski? They want him to go strap it up and throw the football? I mean, can't.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's hit the next slide, A. Okay. Yeah, whatever. The Packers won. Defense played well. There was a couple question marks from this game. If you ask Pete Carroll, he had some thoughts that the interception from the scramble that Russell was running to his left, and I can't remember, he got picked off by, was it King? And the ball did come out of his hands towards the bottom of the catch there, but it was turnovers are reviewed. It wasn't overturned. Probably too much there to go on. Carroll also said that they gave him a first down yardage on a run, and then there was an injured player on the field, and then like 3 minutes later, they gave him a 4th and 1, and then he felt slighted there because they had already called it a first down for the Seahawks. So Pete Carroll was this was on the news radio yesterday talking, and this is some of the nuggets that we got out of that. Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers both didn't play well. Defensively, the Packers and I would say the Seahawks played pretty decent. The Seahawks are not necessarily known for their defense this year. If anything, if this was a healthy Aaron Rodgers, they probably would have put up 45 points on them. So I guess that's kind of a win for the Seahawks. Team that had doesn't have a lot figured out for their season. So, but yeah, it doesn't look like Russell Wilson was all the way back there. I thought they shouldn't have played him then, to be honest, because Geno Smith wasn't playing terrible without him. And maybe
Ace, he was rehabbing 19 hours a day. I mean, good Lord, what would he look like
you
if
imagine?
he didn't rehab 19? He's not rehabbing 19 hours a day, dude. Okay, if you're counting sleep as part of your rehab regimen, then you're not rehabbing 19 hours a day. And no human can rehab 19 hours a day because you're a human being, and it's not even freaking possible. Okay,
we're not perfect. We're not meant to be perfect.
Pete Carroll needs to shut his face and get in the draft room and figure out how to draft, okay? This dude had a few good drafts after he came out of college because he knew everyone and has been absolutely abysmal. You use a first-round pick on Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny. I mean, good Lord, Pete. He's like 66 years old. He tried to bring in Shane Waldron to come in and help the offense. And then now, oh, my God. Andrew, I don't know. You have Tyler Lockett on your fantasy team. Sorry, buddy. Pete Carroll came out and he was like, oh, we got to hashtag establish it. Oh, God, here you go. Your best player is Russell Wilson. You're going to start handing the ball off 60% of the time a game. It's pathetic. It's enough.
They did take DK in the second round. So, I mean, I guess that was pretty decent as far as.
That's the one. So they got one out of their last 25.
And it's funny that they took Rashad Penny in the first round when, I mean, they've taken Travis Homer and DJ Dallas in like the 4th round or later. And those guys have put up essentially the same amount of stats that Rashad Penny has put up, if not more. I think more.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Green Bay Packers are better. I mean, that's the end of this. Like, their defense is playing better. They have a better complement of pieces. I mean, hey, Pete Carroll, the Green Bay Packers drafted a running back too, and he went in the first round, and he looks like a real running back. Unlike the garbage that you're running out there every week.
Try to get him on waivers.
Yeah. Oh, dude, put in a waiver claim for him now.
Get it on Sunday.
You're kind of sitting pretty, buddy, with your
clutch.
Andrew on his fantasy team's got Joe Mixon. He's got Cordero Patterson. Well, I mean, I'm talking about from the running back position. Ramondre Stevenson. So anyway, that's not having to do with the game. But this game was like not like it was unwatchable, but it really wasn't a fun watch. And the Packers won, and they're the better team, and they should have won. And Russell Wilson didn't look 100%. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett this Sunday had the most unrealized air yards than any other players in the NFL. Both of them. They were the two. So they were chucking it up there. Russ was trying to get it over to him, but it just wasn't happening. Did you have anything on this, Andrew? Oh, boy. Andrew is
my computer's acting. It's just acting moody today. No, I don't really have anything. Kevin King is an elite defensive player. Let's move on.
You're stupid.
Stone cold stud.
So Sunday night's the next time, I believe. Oh boy. Okay. At a certain point of this game, it was close. I mean, the Raiders. The Raiders finally, had to lose, right? Like a lot of things going against them. My takeaway from the Raiders' point of view, and this I purposefully picked the Raiders because if there was a shot that the Raiders would pull this off, that I would get a game on you too. It wasn't that I really thought the Chiefs would lose.
It's a smart plan, logistically.
I mean, I knew where you guys were gonna go. Yeah, I mean, Derek Carr, I like him more and more every game that I watch. Like, I'm not saying that um he's would be my favorite quarterback ever. He's not. But I think he's done a super just swell job in for the Raiders, and is probably the only reason that they're been able to keep pieces together so well and to have some success against the Chiefs, because they have beaten them here and there the last couple of years, and the Chiefs have been a juggernaut the last couple of years. So yeah, I mean, the Chiefs mollywopped them, as Jay likes to say, and that's the takeaway. That's the only takeaway.
Yeah, it was finally a. I mean, it wasn't turnover free from the Kansas City Chiefs. Mike Hughes on a very good return on a punt return fumbled on a special teams play, which is what gave the Raiders a short field and tied the game at 7. But honestly, if that interception doesn't happen, the Chiefs are on plus side of the field on the Raiders' 45-yard line and possibly putting up more points on the board. Everything kind of just clicked for the Chiefs. I didn't, a lot of people were saying that the throw against Green Bay was going to be, the last throw of the game against Green Bay to convert the third down was what jump-started it. I really think it was just being patient that jump-started it. The Chiefs kind of just had to figure it out on their own, and they had to just kind of stick to what they were doing, stick to the plan. And you kind of saw it all come together, and what better game to get up for than against a division rival, especially going to your second home stadium in Las Vegas, and then, get to spend some time on the Strip. So, I'm very happy, obviously, as a Chiefs fan. Hope to see more of it. They got a tough matchup with the Cowboys in a bye week, so hopefully they can get that. Hopefully they can, pull out what would be a fantastic win against the Cowboys. They get to play it at Arrowhead. Clyde Edwards-Helaire might make his return, so we'll have to wait and see if Darrell Williams continues the gaudy output that he's been putting out, finishing with over 100 yards. If only Kevin King was on. Dude, if Kevin King was on the Raiders defense, Patrick Mahomes would have just left the stadium. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, Chiefs lose. Chiefs lose. 100%. I think this is kind of the game that we've all, as Chiefs fans, have kind of clamoring for. And to be honest, like, we didn't play. We played good. We didn't play like really well, which is the scary part. Pat still made a few mistakes. There were still a few throws that he missed. Even the touchdown to Darrell Williams. I mean, that was just a little cherry on top. But Mecole Hardman was wide open, and he was running for a touchdown too at that point. But let Pat do Pat things.
Fuck it, Tyreek down there somewhere.
He down there, that boy down there somewhere doing something. He'll come down with a football.
I don't know who memed that. I just had to say it.
Yeah, look, dude. Patrick is not figured out. The league doesn't have his number. It all comes in. It all comes with being an NFL quarterback, man. You're gonna have ups and downs. It's absolutely warranted. Aaron Rodgers mentioned it on the Pat McAfee show a couple weeks ago, and I mean, look at Tom Brady just lost off a bye week, man. I don't know if fans in general understand how difficult it is to win football games at any level, whether it's college, whether it's fucking high school. Like, winning football games is not easy. You have to do a lot of things right. And again, this isn't like basketball where you can just go and hand it to LeBron James and say, hey, go get me a triple-double and win tonight. Like, you can't do that. There are 11 people on the field. Everyone has to be doing their exact job to get the job in its entirety done at the way that they want it to get done. And that's why Bill Belichick saying, oh, do your job. Everyone always makes fun of that. Do your job. It's literally that simple. Do what you're supposed to do. On this play, you do this. And if you do this, this will happen. If you don't do this, then you're screwed. And again, it's all 11. That's why football is one of the most amazing sports. To me, it's the most amazing sport, is because it requires that much teamwork, that much chemistry, that much camaraderie on and off the football field. And when things aren't clicking, you can tell very quickly. And then when things are, you see the result that you get. And again, like this, and I think Andrew would agree watching this, we left a lot of plays out there. And the Raiders did too. So give them their due. There were some plays that they left that were Deshaun Jackson fumbling right there. But then look at the same play. Tyrann Mathieu almost taking that for a fucking pick. And Tyrann's running after he's picking that ball off. I'm telling you right now, there was a lot of room down that sideline. So, we haven't been able to come on here and talk about a Kansas City Chiefs victory where we scored a bunch of points and the defense looked pretty good. When you look at the defense, by the way, only allowed 21 points over the last 4 second halves. So I don't want to say they're coming into their own because, again, like Asa kind of mentioned earlier in the show, you kind of have to, look at who they've played. And the Kansas City Chiefs, played Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers and played the Washington football team. And, there's a lot of things to be said about who they've played. But success is success, and doing well is doing well. And it's going to lead to more of it if you keep stacking, right? Like all players and coaches talk about it all the time. It's about stacking good things. And if you can win when you're not doing things well, and I think that's the biggest takeaway, right? Is good teams, even when things aren't clicky, even when you're not scoring 40 points, even when the defense isn't playing exceptionally well, like you can correct things. The one thing you can't correct at the end of the day is if the other team scores more points than you do and you lose. You are, at the end of the day, what your record is. And you may have players, you may have the talent, you may think you have the coaching staff and everything lined up. If you don't win, however the hell that looks, you don't win. And at the end of the day, that's the most important. That all the stats you can throw out, they're all important. The most important is whether you got the W, and that's all that matters. So it was good to see the Chiefs come together and put together a nice team win. Hopefully we can stack it, and not even hopefully, we're going to have to. This Dallas Cowboy team we're facing next week is legit, And again, they're legit, and they just got wiped 2 weeks ago. So again, hashtag the NFL this year, baby. That's what it is. So
hashtag the NFL this year.
That's what it is, baby.
Tell me about it. Yeah, so that was the Sunday night game. Not necessarily an entertaining game to watch if you're a Raiders fan. I'm sure all of my neighbors were pretty quiet on Sunday night. But yeah, go Chiefs. And then we'll move on to Monday night's game, which I was able to watch in its entirety, almost in its entirety. I was decorating for Christmas, as you could see. The Los Angeles Rams pretty much had no story to tell in this game. This was a 49ers script. They ran the damn ball. They controlled the clock. Jimmy G was perfect at halftime. Was like maybe 15 for 19 to end the game. Calculated throws, calculated plays, spread the ball around to everybody. Biggest takeaway from San Francisco was the fact that they can beat the Rams, a divisional opponent. I guess the second minor takeaway is Elijah Mitchell broke a finger, so he might miss some games, which is just another compounding reason that it's so stressful owning a San Francisco's 49er running back on your fantasy team or in DFS, because you don't not know who you're going to get or what's going to happen. But yeah, pretty convincing win from the San Francisco 49ers behalf. We were all wrong. I thought this would have been a get-right game for the Rams. I mean, that was mostly the reason I took them. And the Niners, 1-9 their last 10 home games. I mean, don't throw rose petals at their feet, guys. Like, I mean, they played really well. They stuck to a game plan. Kyle Shanahan doesn't make him a better coach all of a sudden. It's just his players played the game really well. Deebo Samuel is filthy. That guy is amazing. I like that guy a lot. But yeah.
I mean, he may be the best yak receiver in the NFL, dude. Like, I mean, like him, yeah. Tyreek. I mean, there are only a few guys. I mean, when he caught that ball over the middle and took it to the freaking Uzi, I mean, dude, the burst and the first step acceleration, he left those dudes in the dust. And to be honest, there's been some questions about in the Los Angeles Rams organization about some of the moves that they've made and if it's kind of shaken their foundation, because at the end of the day, you bring in players and you never know really how well they're going to mesh. Do I think that bringing in Odell Beckham or Von Miller is what's causing this team to struggle? No, I don't. But this game, they got out physical. The San Francisco 49ers were # committed to establishing it. And they were able to do that. One thing I do want to mention, and I don't want to keep bashing on the Monday Night Football crew, but God, they
are literally the worst. They are literally
the worst. Bring me the Booger-mobile back, baby.
Roll in the Booger-mobile. Y'all take it.
Bring it back. Steve Levy, when Matt Stafford threw the pick, the very first one, and he was just throwing it up to Odell. He's like, "Oh, Odell Beckham, quit on the route. Quit on the route."
Did you see that ball?
Yeah. It was a glorified punt, Steve Levy.
Stafford threw that ball ridiculously because he knew who could catch that ball, and it's Odell Beckham. One thing that Stafford has to learn.
Close to him, Ace.
Oh yeah, he's not Megatron. He's not Megatron. He like Megatron might have probably caught that. Maybe, I don't know. But Odell is good. He just has to realize, like, okay, Odell, I'm not going to just throw up balls just to throw up balls like Baker Mayfield did. You have to be calculated.
Well, he got there on Thursday, so how could their chemistry not be amazing?
They ran like what 18? He ran like 15 or 16 snaps on the field, and they actually had gained more yardage in those 15 snaps with him on the field than they did without. So.
And the last thing, just so I just want to touch on this real quick, and I'll let A get to it. A lot of people are like really like, for some reason, like Sean McVay is a fantastic coach. I mean, I'm not going to question Sean McVay, but the thing that I don't think people fully understand is Sean McVay's offense is almost entirely predicated on a ridiculously strong run game. Darrell Henderson had 5 carries yesterday. As a team, they ran the ball 9 times yesterday. 9 times. Sean McVay's offense is built on quick hitting run plays with play action boot, taking your deep shots when they're there, quick West Coast offense type of concepts that are blended with play action and a strong zone run scheme. You are not going to win football games in a Sean McVay offense running the ball 9 times. It's not going to happen. It's not. Look at the last 2-3 years he's been there. It's been predicated on a strong run game. It sets up everything that they do. Everything, literally. They utilize tight ends like crazy. Tyler Higbee is not like Gesicki, where you just line him up in the slot and you say, go get yours, buddy. Or Kyle Pitts. You have to have a strong run game and then play action off of it, and that's how they get their big plays. So 9 rushing attempts, it's not going to get it done. It's not going to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could probably skip on to our survivor picks here. I mean, unless you have anything else to add, Andrew.
No, Kyle Shanahan's a bad coach. Sean McVay will never reach a Super Bowl with the Rams ever again. He'll have another coaching job where he maybe is successful. That's all I'll say. Next game.
Just like we're used to. Jay and I talk a lot, and Andrew's very short and sweet.
Stuff gets said when stuff needs to be said. I mean, that game was a crapshoot. They came out, and Matthew Stafford, the first drive of the game, wanting so badly to find Odell Beckham Jr., stands in the pocket with perfect protection, waits 10 seconds, and then just floats up a punt for the defenders for the defense just to come down with, as if he's a freaking year 1 quarterback. Everyone anointing him MVP, preseason MVP pick. I mean, they're 7-3. That's great. They got to win against the Bucs. They got mollywopped by the Cardinals. I mean, there's nothing really to make of the Rams yet. That you have to wait a full season. And honestly, the impatience of media and NFL players and NFL, like everything around the league, is driving me bananas. We have to wait and see. It's just driving me crazy. The impatience. We're ready to anoint everything. Everyone wants to be first. No one wants to be right. Everyone wants to be first. Can we just be right? Wait for things to play out. Like, I get it. Like, we all want to, like, it's like, you look how stupid you look when you just want to be first. Like, Matt Stafford still could win an MVP, but when you're calling him an MVP, like a preseason MVP, and then he comes out and in back-to-back games has 2 interceptions on primetime games, is that the MVP? I don't know.
In my overreaction earlier this season, I mean, I guess it was an overreaction because it was earlier this season. I had him in my MVP trio, and I left out Derek Carr. In hindsight, that wasn't smart of me. I was a little, in the moment. But yeah, I get what you're saying completely.
I honestly don't think it's a bad thing though to have him as an MVP candidate. But the thing is like they're gonna say, "Oh, no, he's not an MVP candidate. There's no way he can be." But 4 weeks ago, you said he was the clear MVP. It just sounds stupid. It
sounds very stupid. All. He's got the best defensive player in our decade. He's got probably the 4th or 5th best defensive defensive back in the league, and he's got probably the 2nd or 3rd best linebacker in our decade. So he's on opposite side of the ball. He's got some of the best playmakers in defense. He's got an amazing head coach. I mean, it's not all Stafford's not the only reason that this team is winning. They're winning because they have pretty legendary pieces on defense, a great coach, and Stafford who's serviceable. not playing excellent the last 2 weeks. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about Tampa. I'm sure Jay doesn't want to talk a lot about Cleveland.
This is pretty much this is the weekend in a synopsis.
Screw you, Tom Brady.
Yeah. This is the weekend in a synopsis. Andrew was right and we were wrong. That's pretty much what happened this weekend.
Except Andrew was right and I was just dirt broken. 0 for 6 on all my picks. Get a job, Ace.
We started a new one on Thursday. New week starts on Thursday, buddy.
New week starts today. We're not. I'm not.
Hey, Ace, if I could make you feel any better, buddy, it wasn't a part of our game picks, but the next clip, you're pretty darn right about this one.
Oh, yeah. Let's just get right to that. Let's just get right. Yeah,
okay,
let's get right to that.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles shut out the Denver Broncos 34-0. They run the ball 40 times. Jalen Hurts got both scores. Nothing huge there, but the Denver Broncos overplayed last week. They'll underplay this week. The Philadelphia Eagles will sack Bridgewater, Jerry Jeudy. He's not quarterback, but they'll sack him too. I have the Eagles shutting out the Denver Broncos. And what's going to happen when the game starts? It's going to be 7-0 Broncos right away. But that is my bold take. Let's see what happens.
Okay, it was a 31-13 score. I'm so thankful that the Broncos didn't come out and win, start 7-0, but I kind of wanted that to happen. It was 10-0 Eagles, and then it was 10-10 going into halftime. Sorry, what were you saying, Andrew? I cut you off. I'm excited.
He said, just laughing about the Jerry Jeudy. He's not a quarterback, but they didn't sack him anyway.
He got tackled. It counts. A sack is a tackle. Okay, I said they'll rush 40 times. How many times did they rush? 40 times exactly. 40 times exactly. Boy. And I said Jalen Hurts would have a couple of scores. He had a couple of scores, not 3. He didn't have a few. He didn't have 1. He had a couple.
What were ours? Do you remember ours, Andrew?
Yeah, I do.
Oh boy.
My bold prediction was that Odell Beckham Jr. was going to score a touchdown in his debut. That didn't happen. They really tried hard though, but they didn't happen.
Jay, yours was Mike Williams would have 100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Oh, man. He had 3 straight weeks under 8 fantasy points. Mike Williams. I'm done playing. I'm going to play him this week. I'm playing him this week. He's going to be cheaper. He's going to be no one on, and I'm playing him again this week.
You probably should play him this week. Okay, it's the dessert portion. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer number 2 just dropped 15 minutes ago. I haven't watched it, obviously. Neither have you guys. But I thought that's pretty, don't leave our channel.
Not yet.
You could go watch the trailer 4 times after this. Man, I shouldn't even have put this up.
That
was a bad business move.
How does the douche over at New Rockstars get to watch and then react to stuff? Why can't we do that?
Exactly. We could open up a tab and just let people watch us for 2.5 minutes. But we've already been on for a little while. We'll watch it together after we end the show. How about that? As everybody should too. That's
hopefully the plan. Yeah.
We'll go live on Twitter to watch the trailer just on its own. Okay, so wanted to spend the dessert portion just doing one thing, and then that was talking about the playoff picture. We don't have to spend a ton of time on this. Just figured we could bring it up, see where teams stand after week 10. If you guys have any thoughts, and bring in some of the bonus comments.
Thoughts.
Bye, Ryan. Whatever. You said you were going to leave during the Cardinals segment we had. Super Cam, I'm back. That's when Ryan comes back. He's like, I'm back. Green Goblin, Tobey Maguire, they're all in there. I don't even know what's going to be in there.
Oh boy, no spoilers. Woo! No spoilers.
Spoilers. I haven't watched it. I'm just getting excited here for no.
All about who you know.
Oh yeah. While Jay was talking, I was watching. Maybe I was. Okay. So let's put up the graphic again, and you want to hop back on over to. Sure. Let's just go down here. No, just kidding. Let's not do that. Okay, so the NFL playoff picture updated as of today. They all die. Yep, everybody dies. So the Titans and the Packers, both 8-2, and the Cardinals are 8-2. You can see there. I don't have to read off all these records, but we can talk about AFC first. Why not? Let's just go one side to the other. So the AFC has the Titans, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, all as division, top of their division right now. And then the Steelers, Patriots, and Chargers round out that mix. And then the NFC has the Packers, Cardinals, Cowboys, and Buccaneers leading their division, and the Rams, Saints, and Super Cam and the Panthers rounding out the NFC. Quick thoughts about what you're seeing here, guys?
Patriots are in, which is I mean, I thought they were gonna make it, so that feels good. I think the best matchup is actually on the AFC. I'm gonna pick my best matchups from each side, and then you guys can tell me what you think.
We'll do that. We can do the same.
Yeah, best matchup on the AFC would be the Patriots and Ravens. I think that's one that the Patriots have a really good shot at winning, man. I'd probably pick them, to be honest, if that was played out today. Just given the fact that the Baltimore Ravens can't really run the ball. They cut Le'Veon Bell today, which is obviously Andy Reid's fault because everything for Le'Veon Bell is Andy Reid's fault. Yeah, dude. I mean, I swear to God, he came to Kansas City. Dude couldn't run faster than me in a potato sack, and he's blaming Andy Reid for not giving him more touches. Absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, I think the Patriots would do a good job of making them one-dimensional. So I think that's the most interesting one on that side of the ball. What do you guys think?
I think you're right. That's probably the closest game. I think the Chargers Bills game would obviously be a pretty good offensive game to watch. I wouldn't be 100% worried about facing the Chargers though, just because I'm pretty sure like we could take apart some of their defense there. I would be excited if I was the Chiefs to play the Steelers. That's for sure.
Hell yeah, maybe. That's the first thing I thought.
And yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Patriots and Ravens is probably the best game in this slate. Yeah, it's probably going to be nothing like this at the end. It just feels that way. But what we're seeing, I don't think the Steelers hold on as long as they are right now. I think they start to lose some games here. But yeah, I would say like six of these teams are most likely making the playoffs. I would be a little cautiously worried about the Chargers and Steelers.
PTSD.
No. Oh God. And it's a rematch from the season. But I think a rematch would be good for the Cardinals, right? Kyler playing that game. I think I would welcome a rematch just because you have a lot of to redeem. Okay, so the NFC. What's your favorite on the NFC
well,
side?
Andrew, what do you think about the AFC?
Oh, sorry, A.
Just I'll pick the two best quarterback, the best quarterback matchup, Herbert and Allen. That's be the best game for me. I mean, I'll give my NFC since I'm talking already. I mean, same thing. I'll take the best matchup of quarterbacks, and I think Matt Stafford and Tom Brady is the best quarterback matchup in on the NFC side of the way things stand. So I'll take that one. That's the game to watch for sure.
Yeah, I think for sure that's the best watch. I think the upset, if this were to hold, is Saints and Cowboys. I don't think the Saints are really good or anything, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side, they're legit. And I think this is, Sean Payton is a super, super smart mind. Played Mike McCarthy a ton. The Cowboys are really good too. Don't get me wrong, but that's just one that I can see. I can see the line coming out and it being like 4.5 points for the Cowboys, and I'd be fucking
promote Kellen Moore.
Oh, I'd be eating it up, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. That's just one that I could see an upset there.
The Broncos gave the Cowboys a lot of trouble, and the Saints have a similar defense. A lot of playmakers on their defense. On that side, I guess I would be the most excited to see the Rams and Bucks play, just because I thought that would be the game that would decide the NFC completely, the NFC Championship. So that was my Rams over Bucks in my NFC prediction. But yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool how wide open it is. We have some 5-4 teams and 5-5 teams, right? So we still got some ways to go. But my only question is why Kevin King on a bye. Oh boy, here we go. Well, welcome into our 10th viewer, whoever you are. Welcome in. Let us know who you are. Drop a comment. Okay, and then on the next slide, Andrew, we have who's still in the hunt. So this is the NFC side here. My Minnesota Vikings. Let's go Vikes. 4-5, baby. Have had the most dramatically failed season, in my opinion. The San Francisco 49ers, right below them, the Atlanta Falcons. Who knew? Matty Ice. The Eagles.
Started 0-2, went 4-2 the next 6, but now obviously lost.
Yeah. the Eagles have one of the easiest schedules to finish the season, so they might just get in on just that alone. The Washington football team, New York Giants, Seattle. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Washington and down are getting in. Who would you be most afraid of if you were an NFC team of the top 4 teams right there?
Oh, Seattle. Just
Ooh,
Russell Wilson.
top 4.
I'm
four,
I'm
top
off
four.
the board. Off the board. Don't care. None of those 4 scare me. Yeah, Seattle. Russell
Seattle.
Wilson.
I mean, Seattle for sure.
Detroit's still in the hunt.
Yeah, come on, dude.
He didn't understand the assignment.
Yeah, come on. They're just putting everybody up now. But yeah, I mean, Atlanta's defense is garbage, and Matt Ryan is a statue. Detroit's still in the hunt. Yeah, exactly.
In the hunt for a win.
Yeah. In the top 4, though, I'd say the Niners. I think the Niners are a team that you don't want to face, especially in the playoffs. They're a team that plays defense. Yeah. They have enough playmakers to scare you, and they're going to run the ball 35 times right at your beak. So I'd say the Niners.
I'd say okay. I'm not just doubling down.
No,
I always double down. Who's got the best running back on this list? It's Dalvin Cook. Who's got the best wide receiver on this list? I would argue and say it's Justin Jefferson. I'm not saying the best quarterback on this list is Russell Wilson. It's not. But if I'm doing the top 4, it's not Matty Ice. It's not Jalen Hurts. It's between Jimmy G and Kirk Cousins.
I would say you couldn't even say Kirk Cousins without grimacing. And
but
you put Kirk Cousins on any primetime game, and he becomes an absolute dumpster fire.
So
well, he becomes Kirk Cousins actually.
It is interesting to see though. Like if you look at this, guys. The bottom teams don't have a good quarterback. I mean, Kirk Cousins is good, not great. Jimmy G is good, not great. Matty Ice was good, and now is not good. He's okay. Jalen Hurts.
My thoughts exactly, Ryan.
Danny Dimes. Oh boy,
Danny
Dimes, Danny Nichols, Danny Pennies. Jared Goff is probably the best quarterback on this list, and he is an 0-8 team. No,
do you want to talk about AFC now that we're talking about buffoonery?
Yeah,
AFC. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so we'll go to the next slide, and that's the last slide. The AFC. See, this is where I'm scared. As an AFC, fans of an AFC team, right? There's a lot on this list that I'm like, oh crap! Like if one of these teams gets in, it could possibly be a little scary. Vegas has had great wins this season. The Bengals, hot and cold, right? Up and down. The Colts, man, like if only Carson Wentz didn't have like 2 really bad games, like this team could be 7-3. The Cleveland Browns, I'm not worried about. I'd love to play the Cleveland Browns. The Denver Broncos, no. I mean, they started 3-0, just took care of an easy schedule. And then the rest down are not in contention. So I'm going to say, if you had to say the top 3 teams here, Vegas, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis, who would you be most scared of getting into the playoffs? Who do you think of these 3 teams makes it into the playoffs for the AFC?
Andrew, on 3, say the team you're thinking, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Colts.
Velociraptor.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, sorry. We're talking about
yes,
football.
Yes. Step Brothers.
Dude, it's the Colts. The Colts might win that division still. I'm hanging my hat on it, bro. I know that they're 3 games behind the Titans, but yeah, as Asa mentioned, literally Carson Wentz kind of just handed them one of those wins. And dude, between Jonathan Taylor is so good, man. Like he is so good. Just DFS wise, just real quick, give me a quick minute here. The fact that Jonathan Taylor did not hang a 45 piece this weekend is nothing short of spectacular. Dude had 82 rushing yards in the first quarter. And then Frank Reich decided, we just want to make this a good football game and stop giving him the football. So, definitely the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz is good. I mean, if you look at his numbers, I mean, he doesn't turn the ball over this year, and he's done a pretty damn good job. Michael Pittman is a legit wide receiver 1 for them, and Jonathan Taylor scares the tickets out of me. That offensive line is healthy now. Quentin Nelson did leave the game early. Don't know if he came back, but I did notice that last week. So just FYI, but it'd be the Colts.
Yeah, I think that's too.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Quentin Nelson left the game a little early. Darius Leonard also left the game a little early. So they got to pay attention to what's going on injury front there. They got a tough matchup. They got to travel to Buffalo this week. I still think that 10-7, 11-6 will probably get them into the playoffs. They're playing really good football right now. Carson Wentz isn't turning the ball over. Really don't know what to make of Cincinnati at 5-2. They were at the top of the AFC. Dropped 2 games that they probably shouldn't have lost. specifically against the Jets. They should have had no business losing that game, being up 11. And obviously with Vegas, everything going on right now outside of the football field and how they performed last night on the 2 nights ago, doesn't really give me any hope for how they're going to be doing for the rest of the season, especially if this season is any like indicative of the past seasons. They've always kind of like come out like and taken a lot of shots, and they paid off early in the season. Specifically, like I'm talking about like offensive side of the ball. They're one of the just in terms of like statistics, they're the best deep ball throwing team in the NFL, but that always usually ends up tailing off because teams kind of figure them out. And then Henry Ruggs, obviously that situation. Yeah, I'll go for the Colts there, but
yeah, I don't want to see a rematch of 2020 playoffs where the Colts, we barely beat out the Colts. But yeah. Okay, so thanks for joining in, guys. This was the Football Feast episode. We hope, you got to, since you got to spend an hour and a half with us, that you spend another 90 minutes of your day doing something therapeutic, because, listening to us for 90 minutes must not be good for your mental health. Just kidding.
I'd argue it's great.
It's great for your mental health. Absolutely great. Yeah.
I'm just messing around. I just wanted you guys to dap us on the back a little bit. I wanted you guys to be like, no, you guys are the best 90 minutes on this show. It's like that playing hard to get, business. I was trying to one of those little numbers. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you guys real soon. We will see you guys real soon. Thursday night we'll drop our picks. Have a good rest of your week, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye. Houston's gonna beat Tennessee this week. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. That's a bold prediction. This guy on my fantasy league is trying to trade me Devontae Booker.